I'm up on the River Dart this morning. You can see in the background we've driven down to Dartmeet, and this is part of the River Dart. We've walked quite a way down this morning. Today's one of those days where I set off and thought, I'm not sure if this is going to work. The sky was kind of cloudy and not at all like the forecast. Surprise, surprise. But today I'm kind of shooting obviously rivers, some autumn colour. I'm not too bothered about the sky, to be honest. And with a polarizer, the non-direct sunlight, the sort of diffused light that I've got at the moment, is probably better. So hopefully I can manage to get some nice shots. Plus I'm shooting Fuji Velvia this morning on the large format system. So I've got some nice punchy colours with Velvia, so hopefully that'll save my bacon. And you can see behind me I've got this little waterfall here with a kind of a zigzag diagonal shape to it. I came here, God, 20 years ago, I think, with one of my first sort of camera setups. I didn't get the shots that I really wanted back then, and I can't believe I haven't been back here since. We're in the last few months of October now, and as you can see in the background, there's still not that kind of full autumn colour yet, which is a bit of a shame. I'm assuming it'll be sort of mid-November before we get true autumn colour, and with all the storms and the winds that we've had down here, it's whether it will last, I'm not sure, but I wanted to come out today and try my best, see if I can capture the colour that we've got here. But yeah, I'm going to get set up in a minute, and as you can see, I'm going to use this diagonal waterfall. The place I want to stand is on these rocks down behind me here, which are really slippery. So I'm not sure if I'll get in to the position that I want to get in, but I'll try my best. As with most of my large format shoots I do now, before I even get the camera out of the bag and set up, I always use my viewfinder app on my phone. I'll put a link in the description for this app. I've got this set up with, I've got my 150mm lens on the large format, so I've got the viewfinder set up with the frame blocked out on this app. It helps me kind of get the shot that I want before I even attempt to set the camera up, and especially in this situation with these rocks here that are really slippery, I want to make sure that I'm in the right place rather than sort of faffing around with the camera. I really don't want to be ending up in that river having an early swim. I'm using the benrofilter filter system this morning with my 4x5 setup. With my lens, it's got I think it's a 49.5mm filter thread on the front. So I've got a step down or a step up ring to bring it up to 58mm. I've then got another ring from 58mm to the standard 82mm ring, which fits in the holder. So 3 rings basically, which is a bit of a pain, but it works. So hopefully I'll get the holder on in a minute. All I'm using is a polarizer today. I'm not including the sky, so I don't need to sort of use grads or anything like that. Possibly I might use an ND filter, but I'll check that in a minute with the exposure times I'm getting. I'm looking at around a couple of seconds exposure, hopefully, to get the movement that I want. The water's flowing pretty quick, so I would have thought a couple of seconds would do the trick. I've got my composition set up with the waterfall going diagonally across the frame. Movement wise, the camera's fairly sort of straight on to the shot, but normally the rule with large format focusing is to focus on far, tilt on near. So I focused on the foliage in the background, the trees, and the tilt on the front has given me full focus on the front of the waterfall. So I'm all set. I'm going to stop down. I'm wide open at the moment to compose the shot, but I'm going to stop down to probably around sort of f22, but I'll play around with that, see what I get shutter speed wise, and obviously check the depth of field and what focus I'm getting at those apertures before I make that final decision. Okay, that's my filter attached. That's the polarizer. As you can see, it's at the back of the holder. So when I've got the holder on the camera, I literally use this serrated ring on the back of the holder, and I can spin the polarizer around like that then. I've taken my meter reading off the foliage in the background. It's a nice mid-tone. There's no direct sunlight on it either, so it's quite a nice spot to take a base reading off. I'm using Fuji Velvia, which is ISO 50. My meter reading at ISO 100 at f22 is giving me 2 seconds. Now I want to give it another stop to take it down to ISO 50, so that's 4 seconds. I'm also using polarizer. So again, I normally allow stop and a half for a polarizer. So that'll bring me from 4 seconds to 8 seconds. Now 8 seconds is plenty. I don't need to use any other filters. I don't need to use any ND filters to give me more exposure time. 8 seconds is plenty of time. So I'm going to start off with an 8-second exposure and work my way around either side of that to give me the exposure that I need. I've got it set on bulb exposure because it's such a long exposure. My lens goes down to a 1 second exposure, and then from 1 second it goes to bulb. So anything over 1 second, I've got to use bulb exposure. Now on my cable release, there's a little spring on the top here. So when I press the shutter, it holds the shutter open. When I want to close it, just press that little dink there. You can see that here. That releases the shutter again and unlocks the cable release. That's 4 frames of Velvia now. I've done one at 16 seconds, one at 8 seconds and 4 seconds, and then another one at 10 seconds, which is kind of in between. Normally with Velvia I get the shot that I've taken the reading for and set my initial exposure in. I normally find that's the one that works. I've used Fuji Velvia quite a bit in the past, both in 4x5, but also different formats. I've used it in medium format cameras and on 35mm cameras as well. Using it all the time, you kind of get to know how a film behaves in different lights and different situations. So yeah, I think normally my base exposures are pretty spot on. I always tend to bracket just on the safe side, especially in this format, because you only get, basically it's just one shot basically, so I've got to try and get the exposure right. Hopefully these will come out. I'll put the result up now. Well, so far so good. Came out this morning initially with the with that kind of, ooh, this isn't going to work, but we've persevered, and quite happy with that last shot. Making our way back now over these slippery boulders. I did slip up earlier, and luckily didn't fall over. So on the way back through, I'm going to set up another shot. I've got a nice little stretch of path here with some mossy boulders. I'm just trying to not to slip over and break my neck at the moment. But yeah, it's whether I can find it again is another thing. But we're on our way back now, so I think it's just up ahead of us here. Yeah, this particular shoot I was going to do yesterday morning, but the alarm went off and it was kind of like, I just went back to sleep. Not good. So I'm glad I came out this morning. Like I said, I got here, initially the weather was pretty bad. Cloudy, sort of drizzly, not very inspiring, but we've made the effort. We've kind of walked quite a way down to the viewpoint that I chose earlier on. Got some good results. The sun's starting to come out now. Colour wise, it's looking nicer now. The light's picked up a bit. So yeah, and all in all, not bad, and definitely worth getting up for. Well, I've stopped at on this path that I was saying about. You can see in the background there all these mossy boulders. I've got two trees. These two here. It's got this one here with a little sort of arch in it, and the straighter one next to it. Just above those trees there's a little bit of colour in the leaves at the top there. Now I know it's another, I think I found a composition, but it is another portrait format. I do tend to shoot a lot of portrait format. It's become quite apparent this morning that I do tend to sort of favour that composition, but I just like, I mean, you know, this kind of works in that format. There's a nice little, if you can see in the bottom of the frame, there's a nice little round boulder. That'll be in the bottom of the frame with the water in the background, and it looks nice. It kind of lends itself to that format. Why do I tend to shoot in portrait? I guess it just suits a lot of the stuff I shoot. I like big foregrounds, especially when I'm shooting wide. So I do like that kind of look, that kind of step-in effect. This particular shot, it just works that way. I've tried it horizontally, it's not working, so I'm going to set up in the portrait format again and see how I get on. Okay, that's my composition set up. Just got a focus now with my loop, and I'm ready to go. Take a meter reading, and off we go. This is one of those shots that I'm not entirely convinced is going to work. There's a couple of things that I'm concerned about. If I was shooting this digitally, there wouldn't be a problem, but I could kind of digitally, I could merge exposures together, I could do that sort of thing, but with large format, you've got to kind of try and get it as near perfect as you can in the camera. The sun is kind of straight ahead of us, well, slightly off to the left-hand side, so it's quite bright. The whiter parts of the water are quite bright, so I've got to be careful not to overexpose that. Now, with large format, when you're focusing through the viewfinder and you're wide open, you can't get everything in focus. Something's going to be out of focus, either the foreground, the background, the midground. You can use your movements to get it as close as you can, but in this particular situation I'm having problems getting the trees in focus and the background. I'm having to stop down to about f45, so I don't want to walk away from this shot because I really like it, so I'm going to give it a go. I'm down at f45, I'm just about to do my meter reading, so it's going to be a very, very long exposure, but it's with the polarizer on, it looks fantastic, so I'm going to give it a go, see how we get on. Well, like I said, I'm not entirely confident about that last shot, but I'll put it up now, hopefully. Let me know what you think of these. We're going to pack up now and walk back. There's a few shots here. I've only shot, let's say, eight frames this morning, which basically gives me, I've taken 4 of each shot, 2 shots basically. It seems like a long time just for 2 pictures, but if they work, to me it's worth it. You spend more time taking these shots than I would do with a digital camera. I might have taken 20 pictures on digital, but with large format it's more considered, and I like to think it definitely feels more artistic. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but for me it's a real slow process, and that's what I'm enjoying. We're going to get packed up now and make a walk back. Idea? Ready to head back? Breakfast, definitely, yeah, definitely. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. Till next time, see you later.